Welcome to Club Doom. Who's ready for some gaming? Gamers, gaming culture, gaming food, gaming drinks, gaming news, gamer words, gaming smells, gaming apparel people actually wear in public, including a friend's wedding. I know, I was there. I seen him do it. Groom was livid. I don't even think they friends anymore. Now all we need is some gaming media, as opposed to, the video games themselves. Introducing Ctrl+Alt+Delete, a real gamers comic and animated series. And boy, it is dookie. It is doo-doo. It is bad. It's trash. Garbage. I'm not a big fan. Ctrl+Alt+Delete be a gaming webcomic and animated series written by Tim Buckley. No, not the singer. And premiered in late 2002. You gotta remember, early days of the internet. This was before we had a myriad of video hosting websites to choose from, before the corporate oligopolies just decided we shall only use YouTube, and maybe the occasional alternative site when you wanna archive your more controversial VODs. So webcomics were really the go-to back then when you wanted to get your name out there in the online space. Penny Arcade, VG Cats, that one John about emulation that I can't remember the name of. Overclock, it was Overclock. They were all the rage back then. If you wanted to make it in the scene, you had to make a comic about two people, or more, playing and discussing video games. I mean, makes sense. Most people back then were using it for either Korn or Quake, but Ctrl+Alt+Delete would live on in our hearts for decades, after one legendary strip. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to lose the momentum. Haha. The series stars Ethan, Tim Buckley's self-insert and possibly the worst character in all of media ever. You could tell Buckley just wanted to make him a fun, wacky gamer protagonist, but I don't know, he's impulsive.
Welcome to Game Heaven, can I help you find anything?
He's incompetent.
Ow! Damn primitive forms of writing. The gaming lifestyle. As recorded for future historians by Ethan.
He's rude.
I'm sorry, I don't speak stupid. And our translator called out sick today.
He's self-centered. He's obsessive.
Look, we'll do something to pass the time. We'll play a board game.
A video game?
A board game.
A video game?
He's a slacker.
Excuse me?
Just a second.
He's not clever. He hates DDR. He probably only ever showers like once a year. And he just straight up has zero redeeming qualities. In a real life scenario, Bull would be living in his parents' basement, only ever going outside to record his Marshall Mathers IV-esque rant videos about how no woman will ever love him because he don't got a $10,000 gaming PC and his maxilla be off-center by like 0.0000000003 inches. But no, by nature of simply being a self-insert, the Ctrl+Alt+Delete universe just spawns him a girlfriend, a stable friend group, and a single job that pays him a livable wage out of the ether, all of whom just put up with his BS on the regular, and we just supposed to accept that. Obviously not accurate to the true gamer lifestyle. My immersion is officially out the window, like a TV at the montage. Then there's Lucas, a programmer, Ethan's roommate, and straight man to all his antics. And then there's Ethan's girlfriend, Lila, the gamer girl. And then there's Zeke, a sentient robot made from spare Xbox 360 parts that Ethan somehow built despite lacking the know-how, patience, work ethic, skill, or just about anything else indicating he could do so. Again, just spawning from the ether of Ethan, roll with it. He also probably the most inconsistent of all the characters. One minute he'll be mocking the rest of the cast for the primal human urge to procreate, but later he'll try to rizz up the TV and it's never brought to anyone's attention, not even for comedic effect. It was probably just an oversight. All you really need to know, he's a robot and he's better than Ethan at Halo. Oh, and there's this dude and his weird penguin sidekick. I don't even remember the names. Together, these four get into all kinds of wacky situations, such as the power goes out and Ethan can't game. Oh no! Star Wars parodies. Ethan goes to the mall. Ethan and Lucas compete for the TV. Ethan tries to get out of work so he can stay at home and play video games. Ethan tries to beat Zeke in Halo. Lila has a miscarriage. Zeke and Ethan make their own version of Will It Blend. Ethan plays Alone in the Dark and It Too Dark. Ethan dresses up as Iron Man, but the costume's too heavy because it's made of iron. Nah, you ain't tripping. I'll run it back for y'all in case you missed it. There was, in fact, a pregnancy arc that ended in a miscarriage. One day, Lila told Ethan she was pregnant, and he peed himself. There was a lot of build-up to this new plotline throughout the months. On one end, readers were excited to see what creative direction Buckley would take this, and on the other hand, people were like, the hell this have to do with gaming? And then the Lost comic happened. On one end, people found it very distasteful and an inappropriate handling of the subject matter at best. And on the other hand, people were like, the hell this have to do with gaming? It was highly controversial, memed so hard that people still post it to this very day, almost 20 years later, and it was critically panned by Buckley's peers. Mike Krolik, if I'm saying that right, stated, I think he's an art criminal. Jerry Holkins of Penny Arcade said, Tim Buckley is the Antichrist, and that storyline was the first horseman of the apocalypse. Yahtzee Crawshaw, back when he was on Zero Punctuation, said, obviously you need to have several blood clots in your brain to think this a good idea. Yeah, they did not pull any punches, but that did not stop Tim from uploading a blog post the same day his magnum opus dropped, probably because he knew he was in for quite the storm. I'm gonna take a quick sip for reading this, John, because it's a mouthful. Pause. I know that everybody has their own idea of what Ctrl+Alt+Delete is supposed to be. Some people feel it's a video game comic, and the character stories are just filler, or don't belong. And some people think it's a story comic, and the one-shots are just filler. Most times it's categorized as a gaming comic, which is fine and understandable. When asked directly though, I describe Ctrl+Alt+Delete as a gamer comic, or a comic about gamers. Semantics, perhaps, but an important distinction for me. While the strip has always and will always have its foundation firmly rooted in gaming, it's not the only topic I want to tell stories and jokes about. As I've said in the past, the grand plan for the comic and its characters has been written for years. I knew that and how Ethan was going to propose to Lila when I introduced her in the comic. I knew when he proposed that shortly before the wedding, Lila was going to be pregnant and then miscarry, and I had to wait 2 years to write it. I know what happens next. And I know how they handle it. I know what happens even further down the line. I know what Scott is doing in his room. I know who moves out and when. I know who dies and who doesn't die. And I know through all of that, Ethan is still Ethan, Lila is still Lila, Lucas is still Lucas, and they are all still gamers. Like, fuck off, Tim. Miss me with that I could do whatever I want with my comic crap. Look, no one's saying you can't tell a more serious story about a sensitive topic. Just there's a time and place, bro. That's all we saying. There's a time and place. And you obviously picked wrong. So why did he even want to tell this story from the jump? So many years ago, long before I started the comic, I was in a relationship and we suffered a miscarriage. Now, this relationship was toxic to begin with and doomed to fail regardless, so that miscarriage was the straw that broke the camel's back, as no one's surprised. Still, it's a tough thing to handle because it's nobody's fault, and I know that it's often much harder on the woman than on the man. However, I also know that it doesn't necessarily turn you into a sad, depressed sack of tears for the rest of your life. People move past it. Okay, it was vent art. That explains it. Also, who getting cyanide and happiness flashbacks? I've probably said this before, but like, it's not always the best idea to post event art. Very high risk, high reward. Because when you beef it, you really beef it. Would definitely help to keep it out of, you know, the haha funny wacky gamer comic though. That would definitely have prevented its infamy at least a little bit. But I mean, it ain't totally destroyed Buckley. The series still has seen success over the years. It got an audience. Buckley's still making a living off of it to this very day. And he's even improved his art over the years. Might not be for me, might not be for a lot of other people because, you know, every time I hear someone talking about it, they clowning on it. But you can't say Ctrl+Alt+Delete wasn't a pioneer in some aspect, especially since John had a subscription-based premium dating all the way back to '05, according to Wikipedia. In late 2005, the subscription-based CAD Premium section was announced. For a monthly or yearly fee, fans were able to access exclusive members-only content such as wallpapers, strips, and Ctrl+Alt+Delete the animated series, which made its debut in February 2006, which I have been subjecting myself and chat to on the past couple streams. It's been a painful experience. This animated gem was gifted to the world by Blind Ferret Entertainment. Every episode be about 4 to 7 minutes long. This also include the intro, by the way, which do a terrible job introducing the characters. The inconsistencies with Zeke. We learn Lucas work at a computer store, but it's only ever brought up once. We don't even learn about Lila's pro gaming career. They just focus on her being the gamer girl. And I still don't know who this guy is. I'm thinking it's Scott. Is that Scott? The animation is stiff, the voice acting mediocre at best, the writing is as terrible as ever.
Excuse me, will my PS2 play Xbox games? Excuse me, I need to know if Halo will play on my PS2?
I'm sorry, I don't speak stupid. And our translator called out sick today.
Wait, what are you—
Surely they must have video game stores in the great land of Stupidia, where you'd be able to purchase and be ignorant of all manner of games in accordance with your society's customs.
Okay, I want to speak with your manager.
I do not understand your strange language, and I can only interpret your raised voice and display of teeth as a sign of aggression.
I'm never shopping here again!
Be wary of traffic and open elevator shafts. They're magnets to your kind.
Screw you, pal!
Get it? 'Cause he's old. So he don't know, unlike VHS players and DVD players, certain software won't work on certain hardware. Ooh. The slapstick never land because visual and audio cues are non-existent, let alone have any impact. Like this scene, for example.
Mark this
Like, I couldn't even tell he got hit by the door.
Lego... You! Wait! I need that game! Let me buy it from you.
Buy it from me?
Yes, in exchange for money.
No. I don't think so.
What? What do you...
They do this weird thing where, like, certain transition shots are way too quick for no reason.
They can't see us.
Nope, we're in their blind spot.
Nah, bro, I could totally tell what happened in that shot.
No.
If I'm keeping it a buck, the only part of the show that made me laugh was right here.
Benjamin Katarski never told you what really happened to your father.
Why would we ever have talked about my father? That's just creepy!
Your father once vacationed in New Jersey.
No!
Just because he looks so bored, jumping out the window. Is it passable for 2006? Maybe. But I think around that time we also had Super Mario Bros. Z, so like, I don't know. 2 years later, it would have a second season though. The animation's different, got a couple new voice actors, but the rest is about the same. And the season ends with a plot about clones, with Lucas just haphazardly throwing one of the Ethans in the big device.
What's the difference? You're exactly the same.
So that's how the show ends. How about the webcomic? Well, in 2012, Ethan dies. Lucas named his kid after Ethan. Zeke becomes recognized as the first sentient robot. And Ethan finally realized his dream, post-mortem, of having founded the Church of Gaming. Okay, yeah, that... And in 2014, I said the wrong year, Buckley announced a new storyline with Ethan and Lucas living secret lives as superheroes, called Analog and D-Pad. And the reboot's still going to this day. Has it improved since then? I'm gonna have to look into it and see. Because if I'm keeping it a buck, most of the stuff I was talking about took place in the mid-2000s, mid-2010s. For all we know, Tim could have improved greatly, and it like the best comic ever now. Heck, I just finished watching the animated series on stream a couple days ago, and it grew on me. Kind of like them brownies at the buffet that low-key taste like chalk, but like it's the only dessert there, so like it kind of just what you stuck with. Really, I think the key issue Tim needed to improve on was his balance. The characters needed more balance so that they could actually be relatable. Because at this point, my favorite character is the watermelon from the first ever strip. The humor needed actual jokes and not just references or Ethan being a douche. And on top of it all, it needed to just stop taking itself so seriously. Like, come on, bruh. It's just video games. Don't be the guy or the embodiment of the guy who would wear a gamer shirt to his friend's wedding, is what I'm trying to say. Unless you're getting married at the Church of Gaming, cause that probably proper attire there. I'm gonna have to check that out, probably on stream. But until then, that's really all I gotta say. So this Club Doom signing out, and of course, sweet nectar.